How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the after chat. Hopefully you're hearing me on the YouTubes. How do we sound? We're coming in okay. We're splitting audios into Discord, so if you haven't already got on the Discord train, make sure you take the link in the description and go ahead and join us over there because we're taking your questions live here for the after chat. Somebody did 15 contacts at K10951. It sounds like for Parks on the Air. Good job, James. Good job getting activated. Give me an audio report on the YouTubes. Sound good.
It's a little bit on the quiet side, but you sound good.
Oh, I don't know that I can help that. We're working off the iPhone mic here, so it is what it is. So, all right, well, that was the Discord sound, so why don't we just hop over here and say hi to everybody on the Discord as well. You're here. You guys go ahead and say hello.
Hi, Josh.
All right, that's working.
Josh.
Very good.
Good evening, Josh.
Good evening, indeed.
Hey, guys.
And no echo on your side, right? So we're good?
I don't hear any major echo on Discord.
Good job. We got it. All right. So welcome to the after chat. This is everyone's time to get direct answers to ham radio questions. We call it Hams Helping Hams here on a Saturday. So if you've been hanging out and you want to ask your specific ham radio questions, this is the time to do it. The way we normally do this is we go straight to the Discord and we take any questions from anybody who is here for the first time. We, of course, like you to introduce yourself and say hello, as this is a very welcoming server, and we're glad you're joining us. So we take the opportunity to recognize you for taking the time to join us over here. And if you have a question, something that's been burning in your gut you need a solution for, well, that's kind of why we're here. So is there anybody like that out there? I know we started a little bit late, so it might be difficult for some of you to hang out. So is there anybody out there, first-timer, like to say hi or ask a question? Go ahead. All right, well, we'll come back to first-timers when we get a little bit more established here in the after chat. But again, if you're on YouTube and you're not joined us on Discord, that's okay too. We'll take your questions live. But we do ask that you put the word question or at Ham Radio Crash Course in there so I see it and it pops up and it's real identifiable for me in the chat. So go ahead with the YouTube questions if there's any. But for everybody else in the Discord, anything you want to add to today's conversation or anything like that, that would be lovely. If you could do that, go ahead. Wow, nothing there either. Am I still making it? Is the mics hot? Are we live?
Mics are hot.
You guys are just there for the discussion.
You're good on Discord.
Yeah, you're good and hot. We were already answering questions long before you got here.
Oh, okay. Well, sorry. Jeez. So everybody that says they have a question, just say question and then add the question to it. You don't have to wait for me to identify you. Just say question and then go. But somebody in the Discord said they have a question, so go ahead with the question. Discord question, go ahead.
Yeah, I watched your video on the Shagyu G9 or X6100 where you did the FT8 setup. The setup's pretty much the same for JS8 call, isn't it?
Yeah, it should be.
All right, because I'm having an issue that I've talked to a bunch of guys in the X6100 community, and they've not seen this issue where you try to test the PTT and it says hamlib command rejected by the rig while setting PTT.
So you're cutting out a little bit. You're roboting. So you're hitting the PTT and you're getting a what error message again? Can you repeat that?
It says command rejected by the rig.
Okay. Did you follow my setup exactly?
Yeah, I followed your setup and I followed another guy's setup after that. And I've also tried like all three modes between like rig, data, and default to
Hmm.
try to do the setup, and it keeps rejecting the PTT.
Okay, assuming that you did all those things, which I have no reason to believe you didn't, have you tried contacting Shegu and asked them like what they think? Because it sounds like you've now gone beyond the realm of like where we normally would recommend you go, right? Like you've exhausted your options, if you will.
Well, I've spent 2 days on it. Trying to I that's as far as it'll let me get, and I don't know if there's maybe settings in the radio that might have been switched from the factory that needs to be flipped back, or
Well, with some respect to the video I made, like I had a first iteration of the release version of that radio. So there's likely been firmware updates that have come since then. There is likely a number of WSJTX setup videos that other people have made since then that may shed more light onto that subject. Have you looked at anybody else's videos?
Comment.
Well, let me get the answer to that question first, and then we'll go to comment.
I've I've watched the FT8 setup video, and he said at the beginning you have like sometimes you have to turn the rig off, turn it back on,
The boot
turn
sequence.
uh FT8 off, turn FT8 back on, and like there's sometimes there's an issue with the communication.
Okay, and you tried that, and that didn't solve the problem.
Yeah, I've tried it. I've tried it a few times. I'm pretty much changing. I'm changing multiple functions at once every time I try it. So it's like I don't know what I've tried and what I haven't tried at this point.
So sometimes that can make things a little bit difficult because you're adding multiple variables to the problem. You almost have to approach it like a scientific experiment where you establish some kind of baseline and then you try one thing and see if it works, and then you try the next thing and see if it works. And if you're trying multiple things every time, then it's hard to define what the change was that was the issue. Um, Again, going with the assumption that you've tried all these things, the fact that you get cat control works, right? So you're seeing the green, and and your computer can change the frequency of the radio and all that stuff, right?
Yeah, CAD controls work. If I go up to the top corner where it has the green PTT button, you can CQ and that'll turn red, but you get no response out of the radio. But if you try to PTT test, it says the rig rejects it.
So out of curiosity, I know there's two ports on the radio. Have you tried both ports? What the hell?
I have not
That's
tried
an
the other one
iPhone
because every
camera.
time I've looked at videos, they say the host ports for like keyboard and mouse.
Okay. Uh, to be honest with you, I haven't used a 6100 in a long time, so I don't know. The channel I would recommend you go check out is Temporarily Offline is a big user of the 6100, and he might have the solution to your problem or has made a video on it.
On Instagram, my buddy Wyoming Survival is a really good user for that same radio too.
Okay. Let's go to the chat. Is there
I
anybody?
I
Go ahead.
I sent Wyoming Survival. I'm a friend with him. I follow him on X. I messaged him. He hasn't got back to me yet, so I don't know.
Okay. I'll put in a good word for you.
So, anybody in the chat have a thought? Go ahead. Oh, I know there's a comment. Go ahead.
I was going to make the comment that maybe he go to an older or different version of the JS8 or FT8.
I don't know if that's a solution because hamlib is not necessarily going to change. Hamlib is well, there are different radio presets that come from hamlib, so I guess possibly an older version of WSJTX, but generally older versions don't work with newer versions. of WSJTX, so that might
That's
not be the way to go.
that was my thought though. Is
What?
if the radio had a firmware update that the older version was compatible with, the newer version usually works, but sometimes the new version of software. But you're more into that than I am.
It still could be wonky with.
Yeah. So Evan's thinking maybe try a different cable, but I'm guessing that since you have the cat control, you're probably okay. Oh my God, Not a Rubicon is in the house. What's up, man? Shout out to Not a Rubicon with the two purple peace signs. Appreciate that.
Comment?
Go ahead, comment.
Yeah, it sounds like there's been the radio and the software are in unknown states at this point, and that's going to just be maddening. I would be tempted to factory reset everything, uninstall, reinstall the software,
Start from
and then
scratch.
just go through the process again. It could be that you missed one little thing, and now you've been poking around so much that a lot of things have changed. Might be worth a shot.
Yeah, the salt the earth process. Yeah. That is an option to try. I would maybe reset everything and then go back and redo what I did from the video and follow that to the letter.
I'll do that again. Is there even a way to get an older firmware for JS8? Because as far as I know, there's only one website.
The version, no, firmware is usually for like the software that goes on the device. So the software version, I think they only have the current version. Plus, it usually only gets better with preset configurations for different radios. So I wouldn't really think that would be the issue. So let's do that. By the way, we're going to be here for a little bit of time. So if you want to go off and do that where we're all chatting and then come back and give us live updates, that would be fun.
New cable first.
Yeah, maybe go try the new cable first before you go salt the earth. Yeah. The Damned sends $5. Thank you. Thank you to Evan, Whiskey 8, for getting me set up in Discord. Much appreciated. Oh, different Evan. So many Evans.
When he says that we'll be here for a
admin,
while,
Evan.
he means we'll be here for at least another 3 hours.
I don't think I'm doing that tonight, guys. I think I maybe got an hour in me and then I'm going to bounce because I have been on my feet and talking all day. We've got a number of questions, though. So first one to go on the YouTube side. Question, does the GMRS license site go down often? Often and for random lengths of time. Yeah, that can happen. If you got your payment in, though, and you have an FRN number established, it's just a matter of time waiting for them to sort that all out. It is the government, after all. Why would we expect that they would be as fast as, say, any service provider on the internet, any business, etc., in the capabilities?
It's really the whole ULS, not just GMRS.
The ULS system is really a collective database of many different users of many different radio services. So good point. Antenna suggestion for high wind in the desert, no trees, veg 3 feet or so height.
Antenna for what?
So great question. Bike toward VHF, UHF, HF. That's going to be the follow-on question. And as you know, our favorite also follow-on question is, how much do you want to spend? Right? Because that's a big thing. Otherwise, the answer is DX Commander. All right. Let's see. All right. So here's a good one. So question, and we got Not a Rubicon in the chat, so he would say some people, but what is a radio FUD and how often do you spot them? And did they get Risky Krisky canceled or kicked off YouTube? Do you know who that is, by the way?
Yeah. He's a buddy.
Yeah. I've talked to them a couple of times too. What's a radio FUD, Evan? Would you like to?
Oh yes.
Your thoughts?
I have strong opinions about this. So
All right.
if they have their call sign embroidered on anything,
You could be a radio FUD.
you could. If it's engraved, if it's on your license plate, if you introduce yourself to people in real life,
Amateur Extra, KI6NAZ.
right?
Not by name, just
right.
I'm
by only the call
KI6NAZ,
sign.
Amateur Radio Extra,
Those are
Amateur
all-
Extra.
Huge warning signs. If you've ever commented on a video about someone doing something,
Like a Not a Rubicon video.
yeah, all these
Some people.
qualify you.
Yeah. So a FUD, we pull that from the gun community, which is fear, uncertainty, and doubt is generally what a FUD contains. You don't have to have all of them, but it is likely you have at least one to be a FUD. So shout out to Not a Rubicon on that one. John, what'd you miss? Oh, not a lot yet. We're just getting started here. By the way, thumbs up. Oh, so the thumbs up was from my Apple. Well, so my Apple device is literally over there being a camera. So if it's doing automated stuff, well, then that's just crazy.
I thought maybe it saw something that.
Did I do this?
It's not doing it.
Question follow-up. HF, and I can make it less than $200. New Mexico spring winds can be 50 miles.
No trees.
Yeah, so like freestanding. So if you can do a vertical, actually probably the DX Commander would be the right answer here. And it would handle 50-mile-an-hour winds is actually pretty intense.
You showed that video today of it, right?
That was the flagpole, okay. Yeah. But DX Commander should be able to handle that. And he now has new Jubilee clips that will make the mast work for you. So there you go. That should help. And that you should be able to get, you may not get exactly $200 with shipping, but you'll be pretty close. And I promise you'll have a good antenna too. You do have to, $400 for a DX Commander? No. Is that true? Not for a classic? Is that right? Okay, so if we're going to $200, and he has no trees.
A hamstick and a stake in the ground.
Hey, Josh, the DX Commander Rapide, I believe, is just under 300. That's the one I have.
Okay, looking now, Rapide. That might be the way to go. A classic is over 400. Man, times are getting tough.
What was the one we used for the go-to station?
That was the Chelegans vertical. So one of the reasons why I sometimes point people towards the DX Commander is it's a tune once kind of thing. You set it up and you're good.
Right.
You get multi-band. You tune all the bands and you're good. With a Chelegans or a loaded vertical, you have to go and adjust it manually.
Right.
Which you may not want to go outside to change bands, particularly wherever you might live. So
in the 50-mile-an-hour winds.
Yeah. Yes, okay, so there you go. The classic does go on sale. Canadian, well, okay, so Canadian dollary dues could be $400. I appreciate that. So other than that, okay, let's go to Discord. Does anybody have a recommendation for a $200 HF antenna? No trees, no natural support systems that will do HF.
About a chameleon antenna.
For $200?
Not gonna happen, and you got to buy a mast.
Yeah, that's all the accessory components to this as
Good
well.
point.
So a roll of 20-gauge wire off Amazon, and
if the wind's blowing fast enough, it will hold your antenna aloft, and then you can operate.
33-foot jackkite mast, 9-to-1 ballon, and wire.
Yeah.
DIY.
Buy yourself you could buy yourself a DX Commander mast or a commensurate type mast and then put up a 49-to-1 end-fed. I don't know that you'd be able to get like a Coffee and Ham Radio's end-fed half-wave and also a mast to do that. You will likely have to engage some kind of guying system for the mast and whatnot.
So double your budget and make life easier.
Yeah.
On the mast, hit the Army surplus and get some push-up poles.
Will they take the 50-mile-an-hour though?
Mine do.
There's only one way to find out.
Okay, there you go. Got a vote for the Army surplus mass. Well, at 50 miles an hour.
You made a good point today about putting up verticals. Don't allow it to land on any power lines.
Please, yeah. You sometimes
Seems
you
obvious.
think, it's worth repeating. All right. So yeah, we're watching the YouTube chat, but let's go to Discord. Say hi again to everybody. Is there anybody new, first timer in the Discord? So you've never been here before. We'd love to say hi to you. If you can hear us and you got your mic set up, we'd love to give you an opportunity to say hi, introduce yourself, and if you have a question, go for it. All right, then just any open questions for anyone listening. I had nobody on the
I
Discord
think
still.
we answered all of them at
Yeah, we
Fieldcraft
did
today.
That's it. They were all there. So live stream. It looks like I was tagged with something. The ATF is also a FUD. That's true. They're the biggest FUDs potentially. Let's see. Chris also dropped the extended manual for the 6100. I don't know that it's going to solve the problem. Radiology just released a new manual. Oh, okay. So for the previous person who mentioned the 6100, there is a new manual that calls that FT8 JSA call. Maybe follow that instead of my video, because again, my video is from like when it came out, like first, and there was no real manual out at the time, and I was kind of just winging it. I made it work, but I don't know that things haven't changed. Robert Sullivan recommended or asked Buddy Stick Pro. So Buddy Stick Pro, great portable antenna, but has the same problem with a loaded vertical that you have to adjust it for band operation. So when you go from 20 meters to 40 meters, etc., you got to go in there and mess with the actual vertical there. So in this case, if you want a portable antenna and also use it at home, sure. Buddy Stick Pro is likely going to need some sandbag type stuff to weigh it down so that it doesn't fly away in the 50-mile-an-hour winds. So keep that in mind. Let's see.
Hey, Josh.
Yeah.
I'd like to direct to the gentleman looking for the antenna under 200. Is that something you're looking for a permanent installation to be stationary, or something that's somewhat portable that you can put up and take down?
I assume since it needs to endure the winds, it would stay up.
I'm guessing, yeah, because otherwise they just bring it down.
Comment?
Yeah, real quick, if you take the Coffee and Ham Radio NFED, which is $75, and you pair it to the DX Commander Classic Pole, which is $72, that leaves you a couple of dollars extra for some Dacron line and begging a buddy to print you a guy plate with their 3D
coax.
printers. And there you go. Well, I'm not including the coax on this one because sky's the limit. They could go to really expensive coax or get cheap Amazon stuff. Oh, wait. Portable? Wait.
Oh, why does it need
Then
to
what
endure
is the
winds?
50-mile-an-hour? By the way, I don't know that any portable ham radio is that serious that you need to withstand 50-mile-an-hour winds. No POTA is that important from my point of view necessarily, but literally the multitude then. So you've got Wolf River Coil. You have the literal one of my favorite antennas, which is just the 17-foot vertical telescoping mast that you can combo with anything. You could buy the Chameleon C clamp, or even that the vice grip clamp that has the antenna mount with the coax on the bottom.
The Gable tripod.
The Chelegans tripod. Honestly, okay, so straight up, one of my favorite things is go find. You can look this up. CB antenna vice grip clamp. It's literally a vice grip that somebody welded a piece of angle iron, yeah, and they put the vertical connection for a ham stick on it with the coax connection on the bottom. You can clamp that onto so many things, and the thing you clamp it on could be your radial, your ground connection. It could be a piece of fence. It could be any piece of metal, park bench. You just add your coax to the bottom, put the 17-footer up, and then just adjust it for resonance for 20 meters is the lowest band it will go. And then you'll be out the door for $100 with coax.
Yeah, the other thing that I was going to suggest too, Josh, is you could always get a fairly cheap triple magnet to set on top of your vehicle or something. If if it's going to be something you're going to put up for a POTA or something, and then take it down.
And you don't need a mast.
Yeah. If you go portable, there's lots of options. I think we all assume that you meant more of a fixed position, running when the 15-mile-an-hour winds. All right.
Comment?
Yeah, go ahead, comment.
There's a phenomena in fluid dynamics called vortex shedding. If you've ever watched a flag blow in the wind and it does all that flapping, well, air, when it hits a mast, it'll kind of do the same thing, and that can cause your mast to oscillate back and forth. I've seen on YouTube, and I don't have a link right now, but where you wrap a helix around your cylindrical mast, use some tubing or some rope or whatever, it can break up that those vortices so that you're not going to get that resonance effect where this thing really starts bouncing around in heavy wind. You know, like if you saw the Tacoma Narrows bridge vibrate, you
Oh,
know, you can help prevent that in your mast.
so you're saying you have a wire or non-resonant cord that wraps around it, and that soaks up that wind, and being that it's spherical or a spiral, it redirects some of that force back into the opposite direction and centers it. Is that kind of the idea?
Stabilizing
Yeah,
power.
it's not it. The reason that you do the spiral is because you don't know which way the wind's coming from, right? It could change directions. So the spiral, and it needs to be non-metallic because you don't want to create a loading coil or anything like that. So some dielectric material, but you wrap that thing around in a spiral. You know, I'd say relatively loose, 1 to 10, 1 to 12, and it will allegedly uh, keep those vortices from forming so that you don't get those resonances and those big bounces.
Okay.
Cool.
What was
Yeah, that'd be
that
fun to
term
try.
again?
The concept's called vortex, VORTEX, shedding, you know, like a dog.
Vortex shedding. Okay, I
That's
gotta look
cool.
that up. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'll see if I can't find a YouTube link here while we're hanging around.
My Ford antenna, or maybe it's Dodge antennas, had that wrap on them, and I didn't know what that was called, but that makes sense.
All right. Okay. A lot of comments coming in. Appreciate all the comments. So we are listening to the YouTube chat. So if you have questions there, go ahead. Any comments on the Discord? Anything? It doesn't have to be a question. Go for it. I know we started late, so appreciate you guys all hanging out. I did. I have not. What was it? Carvers? What do we have?
Culvers.
Culvers. I've never had Culvers before. That sounds crazy, but we don't have Culvers out where I'm at. So I've had Culvers now. A burger and a chicken sandwich. And I gotta say, I really like the burger.
To get the smash burger thing.
Yeah, they get a little crispy, crunchy bits. Big fan of that.
I got one if you're dried up there.
Oh yeah, go for it.
So
Oh yeah, and Evan is joining us. Radio Made Easy, right? I
Yeah,
got it right.
that's
this time,
right.
Yeah, he's joining us again for the after chat. So go ahead.
So I would be curious if anyone has an idea for a vehicle-based invis.
Oh yes. I'll let other people answer that though. Yeah, there is a solution for that.
I've heard, but I'm curious.
It's
if there's
very
any-
expensive.
Right, that's the one I'm not wanting.
Oh, go ahead. Anybody in the comment? Vehicle-based NVIS.
And something you've actually tried and works, not only just ideas, would be great.
Not just really expensive, but
Right.
we happen to always bend it over,
Right.
just because it's easier to get under overpasses with
Right.
it. Yeah.
How about a Tar Heel?
That's not NVIS.
And these horizontal vertical propagation.
Oh, if you get one of those bending antenna mounts and put it on the front of the vehicle, that could then turn it horizontal and get you in this no problem.
So mount the
Well, Forever
river
Coils
coil
has some
horizontal.
kind of deal like that you can put two or
Well, I
something
was
on.
gonna say you're gonna get some ground wave anyways with a loaded vertical on a vehicle. So like, it really depends on like how envious you want to get.
Mm,
What's the real expensive one you're thinking?
it's that one that all
The military thing?
the the high speed low drag guys have with the
That's
the
out of
big
the
huge
question.
base
Yeah.
that they then fold the end over. It's always in the front of the
For
vehicle.
a Humvee.
Yeah, and then they fold that thing over. That's the only thing I know that actually quote
I had
unquote
the
does
idea
that.
of two 40 or 80 meter ham sticks and a dipole vertically over the vehicle.
Like horizontally going in, they're in parallel
Right,
with the vehicle body.
like a dipole.
I mean,
But a friend of mine tried
Yes.
it. It had no success.
okay, yeah. The problem that you're gonna get, see, as you probably figured out, and your friends probably figured out with ham sticks, is their spot of resonance is so narrow that it's like, why bother? A
Right.
lot of times, particularly with the ham sticks. That's why generally I say like 20 meters and higher frequency is where you want to be for ham sticks. I mean, that's kind of the compromise, right? Is that when it comes to frequencies there, you need the wire.
Yep.
And the more you mess with it, you're adding Q, which I don't know enough about NVIS in the sense that, like, do you actually need all that deployed wire out in its full length wireness to be as effective as lifting the RF up to come back down? The hypothesis in my head would be yes, and as you add loading to it in the coils, while you're factoring up the Q, you're also potentially reducing the most effective
Absolutely.
radiating elements, which then would,
defeat the whole purpose.
defeat the whole purpose. Yeah. Oddly enough, I don't think K6ARK is in this chat today, or is he?
That's the one I was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the bad boy. Yeah, so Chris, yeah, like that, and that big black thing in the front there, that's a very expensive
Apparently
little
it's
piece of
made of
kit.
catalytic converters.
Yeah, it's all palladium. It's made entirely out of palladium. Yeah, so K6ARK had a really good point, and he sent me the plots for antennas for 40 meters that work NVIS. So they took an NVIS antenna, same length wire, brought it to the ground level, and then they took that same antenna and they just jacked it up to a more effective location.
Quarter wave height.
Yeah, ish. Not even quarter wave.
Okay.
But again, the plots are showing that you get more vertical power actually when it's higher up.
Sure.
But you're also picking up other stuff. So you're actually making the antenna, we know you're making it less good, obviously, because it's not propagating horizontally as well. But you're also making it less effective just in general by doing NVIS stuff. So that's why it's almost a game of, I will jack up my power to do NVIS, and you must also jack up your power to do NVIS, right? That's what a lot of, I think, the prepper guys, when they're talking about, I need that local 300-mile, comms, they all want to be high-speed, low drag, and they want to do it with QRP setup.
No.
Not going to work. Even a 100-watt radio, not going to work. You're likely going to have to dip into an amplifier of some kind. You can do portable with an amplifier. I've done full legal limit out of the back of my truck.
Maybe CW or JS8 call.
Now, so if you bring back JSA call, actually JSA call would work better than CW because it hears a little bit deeper in the noise.
Does it? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, from my experience, yeah.
Makes sense.
Not only, Paul, do I use my SDS200 all the time, my wife is actively a participant in what's going on there, thanks to the Boondock Echo, which I'll have a video out this week talking about the Boondock Echo and how.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, Evan was down with it when I started talking about what you could do with it, because you do rattlegram.
Yep.
I have not done a video on rattlegram since we don't have a lot of questions going. Do you want to talk a little bit about it?
Yeah, sure. So rattlegram is like the world's simplest digital interface, I would say. It's Android or Apple driven application that plays a sound, and creates text-based communication point to point. So the app needs to connect to your radio somehow. You can literally play it over the speaker of the phone and hold down the push to talk, or you can get connective cables. So BTEC makes an APRS cable for the Baofeng. Set the Baofeng in Vox mode, buy a cheap Android tablet, set that up in your home on emergency power, and you have a listening device, an appliance for rattlegram. And so the way I like to propose people implement that is even on GMRS repeaters, just leave it up and running all the time. And if you have loved ones or a local group, just agree to check your iPad or check your Android tablet every night at 9 o'clock and look for messages. It's totally asynchronous. And it's legal on GMRS or within the rules now that they've added data, and then obviously within amateur as well. So you have an asynchronous messaging platform for, I don't know, $100 with a tablet and a Baofeng and a cable. that you may or may not already have on hand. And I think adding that asynchronous capability using local repeaters is pretty cool. Force multiplier type thing.
Yeah, and so you're using it for asynchronous stuff, and I'm using the Boondock Echo to just like capture the audio coming in over different devices. And so the thought being, you could use that and make it available pretty much everywhere. I get notifications on my phone like when my keywords get plopped off, or any. It just captures any of it.
Yeah, what could be cool is somehow tie both together to notify you,
Right,
or cellular, that you have a rattlegram message.
Yeah, if you could add the decoding to it, then all of a sudden you're just getting the messages directly emailed to you. Like, that's next level stuff right there. So, yeah, we got one of the creators in the chat right now.
Really?
How do you like that that thought there? Oh, where are they at?
I'm
there he
here.
is, Mark. There he is. Hey.
Yeah, no, I'm listening. It's the first time I've ever heard a rattlegram, so I'm on the website reading right now.
Yeah, pretty cool. I mean,
Rattlegram's
it's
cool stuff.
Oh,
I
not
use
the
it.
creator for Rattlegram, for the
Boondock.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, got it. And if you could add decoding for that, I could sell a lot of them for you.
Yeah. Okay. See, here's.
I like
go
the
ahead,
way
Mark.
you think.
Yeah. Nate the Great asks, I picked up the CountyCon GP7, which is a shortwave listening radio.
Okay.
I live in a brick duplex, and with the external real antenna clipped on and doubled up, I am unable to receive anything understandable. So I don't know what doubled up means, like folded back on itself. Also, like, how are you getting the wire outside?
I don't think it is.
Yeah, okay, good point. He could be just doing that inside of a room. Everybody who buys a radio, hear me out on this, okay? I need you to first take it outside and to prove that it radios correctly before you bring it into potentially like a Faraday cage.
A car, a house,
yeah.
Metal barn.
Like go take it out into free space and make sure it's a radio first. And then now you know it's a radio. And then as you start to make the location you put it in worse, hypothetically, then you understand that it's at least a radio when it's outside, right? That it's not defective. That should be usually the first thing. And taking the GP7 outside and just using the vertical whip and doing a scan and pulling up signals would probably be enough to at least prove to you that it's not defective. Right. And then you can start playing around with that other stuff.
And that antenna is not defective. Does it have detachable antennas?
The new one has an antenna port, like a mono jack you can plug into, and then you can run the reel. But even then, you don't need that if you just go outside. You can hear something, right? You'll at least be able to pick up WWV, by the way, if everybody doesn't know this. 10 megahertz, 5 megahertz, 2.5 megahertz, I think even 15 megahertz is WWV. It's the clock, if you will, that's on shortwave out of Colorado. And I use that for the is this thing a radio test, particularly for shortwave.
Also really good for timing JS8 call off grid.
Yeah, you can do that too. I've done that once to prove that I could do it, but it's almost like if you were into DJ music and you wanted to set BPM manually, where you're like, oh, it's 120 BPM. Like, you have to be a little bit Johnny on the spot with the clicks.
It's pretty forgiving.
Yeah. Most of that stuff is. But, yeah, right on. All right. There's a knockoff WWV in Canada. Yes, it's great, but it makes your radio smell like maple syrup, which I think is a perk. But all right, anybody on the Discord, come at me with some questions if you got them. Go for it. Otherwise, I'll take your questions on YouTube as well. By the way, we're connected with Twitch, so if there's anybody watching on Twitch, we'll see that too.
I just have a small comment.
Let's go Chris first, then we'll go Frank, and then we'll say hi to some of the YouTubers we have in the house, which I think we got a few. So go Chris. Chris, you're on KE8YM. Well, sorry, YYM. I need glasses. Maybe. Chris? We heard you.
All right, go after Frank.
All right, go ahead, Frank.
Okay, I just want to say, fantastic stream tonight. I was doing more listening than chatting, and absolutely fantastic tonight. That's
thank
all I
you.
got to say for that.
Yeah, that was fun. It was very ad hoc, kind of like a lot of our talks
Everything
today. It
has
was just we had slides, we had prepared material, but people took us in all kinds of different directions. It was a lot of fun. So having Tom jump in, I think that was fun too. So yeah, right on. Appreciate that. Thanks.
There's a very mixed perspective group of people sitting here.
We actually have a lot in common, I think.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, we approach things a little differently, so it's fun to. I've
Yeah.
felt a lot of challenging and interest from the conversations this weekend.
Yeah. All right. Well, if Chris comes back, feel free to jump in there.
I
But
think is that the same Chris?
oh, no, that's
Okay.
different Chris. KE8VRN. Will you be doing a video from the show? So, Fieldcraft Survival, American Contingency, they brought us out here to do the talk. So, like, the video's theirs. They're going to use it for what they want. I'll talk to Mike and see where he drops it, and wherever it ends up, I'll try and do my best to let you guys all know. But a lot of you are faster at finding out where they're dropping stuff than I am in a lot of cases. So, let's go ahead and say hi to some of the YouTubers we have in the chat. I see Chase. Chase, I didn't forget you this time, buddy. You there? You on, Mike?
Yeah, I'm on mic. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, you're a little low. You might want to pick it up a little bit.
That any better?
A little bit. Maybe I'll just bump my end. There you go.
All right. Well, yeah. Not much going on this week. Just posted a video yesterday finally that I had shot about 2 weeks ago, or last week actually. But basically it was just about this thing called the ham radio. It's called hfqso.com, the ham radio propagation thing. I can't think of the name of it now.
Okay.
Just forgot the name of it.
Different from Clocap.
Trying to think of the name of it. Give me just one sec. Oh, it's called the HF Activity Group.
Oh.
But yeah, basically you can track your propagation on it and stuff. It's kind of like a net, but super cool thing. So I posted that video yesterday. Other than that, don't really have anything else in the works yet for next week. Trying to figure all that out. And on top of trying to figure out everything for hamcation and all that. Other than that, don't have a whole lot going on.
All right. I do have the web there for the HF activity group. I will drop the link in the chat.
Yeah, it's a super cool thing that those guys do. They do it every day on several frequencies. Definitely worth checking out the video. I'll drop a link to that video as well as my channel.
Yeah, man. Go ahead, do that. Make sure you share that.
What's
all right.
His channel?
Yeah, Chase, go ahead. Shout it out.
But yeah, thank you guys for
no, what's your channel?
Hosting the
shout out your channel, man.
KI5 IRE Ham Radio is my channel.
Oh, slow it down. KI5. I lost the last part.
KI5 IRE Ham Radio.
IRE. You KI5 IRE. All right, got it.
My goodness.
Right on, man. All right, I think next is Frank, right? Is it Frank?
I think so. Looking at it, looks like I'm next. Good evening, everyone. Ham Radio Wilderness with Frank, KG6NLW. I'll just get that out of the way right away.
There you go.
Video editing is on. Yeah, video editing is on hold until probably mid-February. I got some extra time off. I'm going to be having a lot of good videos coming up, including 2 surprise videos. So stay tuned for those. Did a POTA activation today and got about 200 contacts in the log. It looks like a couple of them were busted calls as I'm trying. But other than that, not much else going on here. There might be a big reveal tomorrow or next day as to what one of my videos may be.
Right on, man. We just got word from Mark too that Rattlegram might be fully integratable into Boondock Echo, which that's super cool because then you could potentially just get emails like when they occur.
Yep.
Which, still as an appliance, having something that's just picking up the RF is nice, but having it local, it just is convenient. That's cool too. So yeah, absolutely love that. Right on. Okay. Well, Frank, thanks for
That
being
sounds
on
like
there.
absolute fun. Yeah, no problem. I'm going to try and listen in. I'm using my fleet vehicle's Wi-Fi to connect in tonight. Otherwise, my cell signal is absolute trash for Discord. So I'm going to jump over to the YouTube, and I'll be in the chat this evening.
Hey,
All right. Well, thanks for hanging out.
hey Frank.
Go ahead.
Hey Frank, I was just checking. Are you going to Hamcation?
Unfortunately, no. I don't think I'm going to make Hamcation. If I'm lucky to make Dayton or Huntsville, I'll be lucky.
All right. Right on. Right
Well,
on.
hope to see you at one of those then, man.
Yeah. So 1 second, guys. The hard drive did not work. Okay. I tried to plug it in. It never showed up. Okay. And it's just it
Clicking and flashing.
Yeah, it might be on its death note there, okay. But I did copy it over. So
it's all on flash drive.
Yeah, and I don't know if he wants to check it, but if he does, let me know if it's not there or working right, and he can have the hard drive back. Okay. Cool. Thanks. Doing work on the back end here. Hey, what's up?
How's it going?
Good. Grayman Poda, you're next, man. Go for it. Say hi. Yeah.
Hey, appreciate it.
Hey, everybody.
Hard drives.
Tim here, Grayman Poda. Yeah, just been a busy week. Built the Denko 5.5 amp hour do-it-yourself battery. That was a fun little project. Filmed that, so should be getting that out soon. And then other than that, getting things ready for Winter Field Day. Going to be meeting up with the crazy ham radio operator that likes to jump out of airplanes to do a twofer POTA activation along with Winter Field Day, all from one location. So it'll be a fun and very busy next weekend.
Oh, fantastic. We love Carlos. Carlos Life at Terminal Velocity, so check him out too. Literally ham radio under a loft and a parachute. Frank, somebody's asking.
Absolutely.
Oh, Frank, you got it. You dropped the channel. Good job. So, Grayman, yeah, thanks. Anybody else doing Winter Field Day next weekend? Highly recommended. I almost recommend Winter Field Day more than ARRL Field Day, just to challenge yourself. Go ahead.
Yeah, we're going to go to the park in the middle of town, which is actually the low spot, and have a lot of fun. 4 or 5.
What do you think your temperature is
people
going
bringing
to be?
radio. I hope that it's in the 50s during the high, but it's 26 outside or less right now.
Okay. I think
that's in Oklahoma.
Okay. We're going to dip into the low in the 40s, I think, in California. Particular day. So we'll definitely
that's going to be suffering right there.
We're going to have a hard time, guys. We might not all survive. I will be dragging out the buddy Hex with the group that I'm going out with the Ham Club. I'm going to do my best to live stream there too, but I have a feeling that that's going to be a problem, just from having been to that park multiple times and knowing that the signals there are just absolute trash. So we'll see how it goes. I'm gonna try some stuff, but I'll do my best. I promise.
My club in Virginia is going to be doing Winter Field Day. They actually they rented out some cabins at a park, and the park is actually closed, but they opened it for our club. We did it last year, and we decided to do it again this year. The park was real happy with us. We have to rent our own facilities. We have a porta-john coming in and that type of thing. But yeah, it's going to be a great time. Unfortunately, I travel for work, so I'm probably not going to be able to make it. but my club is doing it. So
Right on. Yeah, Spiker Bond. I am taking questions. So if you get your voice in there on the hashtag Discord or live dash after chat, that's where you want to be. And we'll take your questions live, or you can type them in the chat. I see you there. Anybody on YouTube?
Hi, I am. Oh, I was actually already sitting in here. Hopefully, you can hear me. Question: I have been messing around with J-poles, and specifically, I threw up a foil one on my bedroom wall. Worked beautifully. I was messing around with speaker wire tonight to try and turn speaker wire into a J-pole, because everything I was seeing online had warnings about having the matching segment too far apart, but nothing about them being super close together.
Mm-hmm.
For the life of me, though, I could not get it to tune up. So is there actually something about not having the wires that close together? Do you know what I mean?
So you just so happen I am holding an Ed Fong J pole, which here's two J poles. The N9TAX is right here that Evan's holding, and I'm holding the Ed Fong, and you can see the difference between the open wire line. And yeah, this is window line.
A quarter of the size.
Yeah, and yeah, there is a gap. There is a gap, and speaker wire, very little gap. Like that's literally just two wires that are separated by a tiny little jacket. That could be a problem. I've actually never seen anybody make a J pole out of zip cord. They call that zip cord, by the way.
If that works,
and speaker wire.
That would be awesome.
Yeah,
but that's a close second.
I will try looking up zipcord. I did not know that was an alternative name for it. I've been doing so much online research the last couple days on it and found some things, but not a lot. But yeah, no, I figure if it works, that'd be lovely because it'd be infinitely cheaper and easier to get than the window or ladder line. So yeah, no, I'm actually have a Ed Fong as my primary right now, which is what inspired all this. So thanks, awesome.
So zip cord is also known as lamp wire or lamp cord. So if you've ever seen twin lead lamp cord that goes to just like a lamp that you put in the house, that's also zip cord, but I think it's the same 16 gauge wire. The jacket is just different. Speaker wire is generally like a clear jacket, and zip cord is just like a white or black or,
Another one to try, silicone jacketed B-Tech Go on Amazon is maybe the shielding makes a difference. The jacket, I don't know.
I think it probably is that relationship with the gap. Yeah, that's my guess.
You would think Ed Fong would have made it smaller if he could.
Knowing what his profession is and his background, I bet if he could, he probably would. By the way, I have secured a date with Ed Fong where he will be on the channel to do an interview.
Awesome.
He is maybe the only man that's busier than I am as far as schedule-wise. We did get it sorted out, but it's a couple of months in the future. So, hey, the geekiest guy got elected president last weekend. So congratulations on that, man. Or I don't know, is that congratulations? A lot of people get elected, and like if I got elected to president as a club member or something like that, I don't think I'd be happy. I don't deal well in committee. So, congratulations, man. Zip cord velocity factor. There you go. Just dismantled all my non-Christmas lights into wire for antennas. Oh, interesting. Okay. That is a fun project if you decide to make a Christmas light antenna. So, good deal.
That's an annual tradition for you, right?
Yeah. 5 or 6 years.
Okay.
Yeah. I heard somebody in there.
Hey, it's me, Chris.
You
first
got it.
time one here. Is it working now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. First of all, I want to thank you and all you YouTubers. I passed my my technician back in August, and this February the 10th, I think I'm gonna go take my general. I am going to get me. I'm going to get an. Right now, my budget is a Zygu G90, and I have two part question here. 9-1 or 49-1.
Hmm.
Ballin, which one should I go with?
Well, I'll take the first question. I'm a 49-1 unun guy. I've used 9-1s. I know they can be effective. I know they can work just fine, but me personally, I will generally go with an antenna that's cut for a particular resonant band and try to piggy hop on the even harmonics than to try and find a non-resonant frequency and hope my tuner can just sort it out. Also, you're banking a lot on extra gear that you have to take with you. If you're going to run a 9-1, you likely need a 10-1 tuner. It's still going to be an effective transmitter, but I've gotten situations where you get RFI back down the jacket of your coax. You need to choke it out a little bit more, that kind of stuff. Even a QRP. So that's my thoughts. Evan,
I've heard the G90 can tune anything, so maybe you'll be good with what it has. But I like 49-1.
Yeah, I don't know that the G90 has it. Well, it probably does have a 10-1, but with your luck, you're going to be just outside.
Okay,
Guess we should
thanks.
ask why. but
My
what
second
are you doing?
my second question is I'm going to do some POTA, and what's the best Denko battery? I don't know, 3 amp hour. I mean, how high should I go?
How much money do you want to spend?
20 amp hour.
Nice look.
So I think Denko is at
100
the
amp hour.
highest, going up to 9 amp hour. I don't even know that he has a 12. If he does, they probably sold like instantly. So really, the answer to your question is going to depend on how long do you want to operate, and how much power are you trying to run? What kind of radio are you trying to run?
Was he the G90 guy?
Well, maybe. Yeah. Are you trying G90?
Yeah, the G90.
20 watts.
Amp hour?
It's 20-watt radio is what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah. But your draw for amp is going to be 10 amps, maybe. So a 12 amp hour battery would likely get you a couple of hours. And you could offset that by having a solar system of some kind. I don't know that Denko has a 12 amp hour battery. If they do, somebody drop the link.
They're all significantly smaller.
Yeah, 6
For,
and 9.
for a new guy, and I'm a new guy myself, I would say nothing less than 15 amp hour, and I don't think Denko has anything like that.
If it was a 100
And the
watt
reason-
radio, I'd say yes to that.
Yeah, I've got 100 watts, so yeah, you're right.
But at 20 watts, you can go with less.
5.5 is.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
I'm
you're
looking
right.
real quick. They don't have anything over a 5.5 amp hour battery, which is very similar. It's the manufactured version of the one I just built. There are some limitations with that though, and it's the current draw, and I believe that has 8 to 12, maybe 12 amps tops current draw on that battery. So if you're going to get into a 100-watt radio, and I know in this case he's a 20-watt radio, you're going to have to pay attention to that, and you're going to need something that can go and take more than, probably up to 30 amps. And if you look at the manual on any of your radios, it should have a chart in the back that would have your power consumption, especially on a 100-watt radio. So you'll have an idle or standby mode, current draw, and then full power, and then you're going to find yourself somewhere in between.
My favorite battery lately is EcoWorthy makes a new 20 amp hour that's in a plastic enclosure, not what you're accustomed to seeing. It's more like a football shape, but it has a barrel plug already with a nice waterproof plug, and then recessed lugs, so you don't get the potential
shorting
arcing.
it, dropping a wrench on it.
Excellent. I've had great luck with it, and they're like $80.
And you said it's a 20 amp hour?
20 amp hour.
Did you test it?
Yep.
For $80?
Yep.
That's
Amazon
wild.
Prime. But not gonna match quality and craftsmanship on something like a Denko. And much bigger. It's as big as the radio.
Oh,
but
okay.
It'll run it for a week.
It depends, right? Of course, it depends.
A lot of listening.
Yeah. If you want to backpack this stuff, then that might be going a little hard. But a G90 is also kind of a clunkier radio. It's
pretty big, yeah.
For a car trunk portable setup that you're going to set up on a picnic table and you just lug it over, that's probably fine. If you want to backpack it, then the battery's going to be a consideration.
I like those 20-hour batteries because they can basically run anything I throw at it.
Yeah.
Big or small.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Josh. I appreciate that, and everybody in the chat. Yeah, I won't be backpacking. It's just going to be, sitting at the picnic table or in the van. So, thanks a lot for the answers.
Oh, there you go.
If that's the case, I would change my style. I would definitely go with the bigger battery if you're never gonna hike it.
Did you say in a van too?
Yeah, I got
river.
Yeah, we got a minivan. So
okay.
Yeah.
So the first answer to your question is, of course, you're going to put a 100-watt solar panel on the top of your van, because why would you not? And then plumb that into a charge controller, and then 20 amp hour battery. Or why stop there? Why not go 50?
100 amp hour.
100 amp hour, and then you can run everything to your heart's content. You can live out of that sucker. I would actually be like, go semi off grid with that thing as much as you can. You can do all kinds of stuff if you put a solar panel on top.
Yep. And Evan Hafer today making that point that power is going to be as important as water.
Oh, yeah.
So having more battery, if you're not hiking it, you're not going to wish you didn't have it.
I felt really good that my morning talk before Evan was, power is your one depreciating good. Okay. And that's the one thing you have to concern yourself with. And he was reiterating that point. He didn't even listen to me earlier. No. And I was like, yes.
That happened with a lot of stuff.
I felt good, man. Yeah, it was good, man. That was a good talk. Let's see.
Comment.
Go ahead, comment.
Yeah, the other thing about batteries is that if you can afford to get more power, then get more power, because you don't want to spend money on something that is 5 watts or 10 watt, or I'm sorry, 5 amp hours or 10 amp hours, and then find out within a couple of months that it's not sufficient for you. Then you have to go out and spend more money. And don't lock yourself into a particular brand either, because the Miati has some good batteries out there. Bioenno. Right now, I'm actually looking at Power Queen. So don't lock yourself into a particular brand. There's a lot of good stuff out there, and go with as much power as you possibly can, rather than having to find out later that it wasn't sufficient, and then you got to spend more money than you planned on.
Sure, absolutely. I mean, there's also a commentary on if you go with a battery and you think you maybe the time you want to operate is not going to be commensurate to the battery output, just lower your power output. Sure. and then you're going to run longer. So that's a thing I often do when I'm running under solar all day, 100 watts with a decent sized battery. Yeah, I can go 100 watts all day long. Solar's offsetting all of that. It's just whoop throughout the day. But then when we hit night, we lose that solar. We still have a decent sized battery, but I want to make sure I'm keeping it with me. I'll drop it to 40 watts, 50 watts, half the power, and then just keep going as long as I can. That's honestly some of the best ways to do it. Is that way you don't have to literally, have a briefcase of a battery that you're dragging out there, and you're working with what you got, which batteries can get really expensive really fast. Good 50 amp hour, 100 watt amp hour gets real expensive. Oh, lots of people repeating. 12 amp hour is perfect for G90. That's probably fine.
It has an 8 amp max current draw.
8 amp max current. So you're right in the wheelhouse for that. Oh,
mind if I come back?
Sure. What's the comment?
This is Alexis again, Spikerbond. Want to thank you for the zip cord, because literally the moment I Googled zip cord J-pole, very first result pointed me to a QST July 2022 article literally titled "Making a 2-meter J-pole from lamp cord." So now I just have to find that. So I've been pulling my hair out trying to find any scrap of information about making a J-pole like that. Could not find it. The moment I put in zipcord, boom, there it is.
We just called it the
thank
wrong
you.
thing. We just called it the wrong name, right? That's all there is. And it's probably going to behave the exact same because I think the gauge of wire is the same and the distance between the two is identical. So good question for Evan here. I'm sure he loves to take these ones all day. Is there a recommended frequency using UV5R for walkie-talkie, or just stick to channels?
Well, yes.
Yes. The answer is yes.
I mean, you got to decide what you're trying to do with it.
Does it depend, Evan?
Right. It does depend. I could just get that tatted on my forehead.
Along with your no regrets tattoo underneath it?
Right. I don't know what you're after, but I'm going to assume you're like, where am I going to find people to talk to? That's probably why you're asking. Load up all your local repeaters, put them in distance order from repeater book or straight in chirp. Put in 146520, the national calling frequency. Put in the APRS frequency. You'll probably hear some goobly-gook on there.
That's actually a good, I use that as the clock.
Okay.
WWV. I use APRS as like, is this a radio? Yeah. Is this radioing?
Yeah. Or
and
NOAA.
I'll put it on APRS. NOAA is good too, yeah.
That's where I'd start. I program all 22 GMRS, all 5 MERS, and the emergency marine frequency.
Oh, now you have to go to jail.
And of course, that you would only listen on those, but they're good to listen, right?
That's right.
And if you're feeling froggy, you could get on that push to talk.
Hopefully that helps. All right. Okay.
Don't forget to turn the Roger beep on.
Oh yeah, turn the Roger beep on always. Both the transmit and the end transmit.
I actually love the Roger beep. It brings a smile to
I
my
actually-
face every time I hear it.
Oh yeah.
I actually have a real quick comment about that as well. Also, make sure that you put the 70 centimeter national calling frequency in there, because depending on where you are and what kind of terrain you're in, sometimes VHF doesn't make the trip, but UHF will.
Yeah, his use case is wanting to hear people talking. I've never heard it.
Never heard anybody on 446.
It could be useful.
Yeah, I sure. If you've got the memory channel to lose, then yeah, why not? Like in California, I have 500 like repeaters in 100 miles. So I'm a little
valuable.
Yeah, I'm a little choosy of what I put in there. 446 I generally do add more for just radio simplex to simplex. I'll leave that one on there.
And the adventure frequency, if you're somewhere where POTA happens or SOTA.
Mm-hmm. Which is 146.580.
Yep. So
make sure you use that. I pretty much only hear folks on GMRS. Yeah, we took this question a lot today, or just comments on stuff like that. It depends on where you live. It totally depends on where you live. Yep. There's some geographic areas where there's just not a lot of chatter on simplex for national calling frequency. Even a lot of the repeaters are dead, right? So that's where I would say, well, it's time to upgrade to general and get on, HF. But yeah, you just
blow them up with rattlegram.
There you go. Yeah, blow up the repeaters. Yep. God, I bet there's some repeater owners that just hate that.
Oh, I've had them turn it off on us. We use it for a mission in class, and they're like, they think it's interference, or they don't know it's completely
That's funny.
legal. And yeah, if you're the repeater owner in Lady Lake, Florida, that turned yours off because we used it for rattlegram, thanks a lot.
There you go. All right, I'm gonna be a hard out here at 9 o'clock because I'm fading. I'll do a lot of. I'll walk around wherever. Like I'll walk around Hamfest, talk to y'all, but like just being on your feet and just talking and teaching the whole day and being on live, it's like I'm exhausted. So, questions on the Discord? Anybody? Any comments? Anything? Let's just go. Go for it.
If you need something, I can talk about Boondock Echo for a minute.
Oh yeah, go for it, Mark.
Cool. All right. So I'm really excited to see your video, but man, so much has changed since we sent that to you. If you do a firmware upgrade, you're going to find a lot. This thing can create its own access point now. You can log on. It'll show you a a simplified version of the main webpage, just everything but the transcriptions, change your settings, all that type of stuff. We're getting rid of the K1 cable that's built in. We're going to replace that with an audio jack and then give you a K1 cable or, whatever you want. We're copying Digirig's cable pinouts so people can connect these to a lot more radios. We've got some corporate clients. Oh, and I guess, a little bit of news. We're going to launch this month, we think next week. So you guys will be able to place orders on Kickstarter just in almost no time at all. So I really appreciate you taking a look at that. I'm glad you're enjoying it. And that's my update.
Yeah, I'm excited. I was really bad on putting the video out. It happened that whole 2-week period where I got sick. Couldn't start the general license exam. Couldn't do the boondock. Couldn't do anything pretty much. So appreciate Mark. And it sounds like though I'm not going to take a win on this one, but it sounds like there's going to be updates that I can get in the video now. So I'm excited about that at least. That it's not going to be stale immediately after I drop it, which has happened in the past. So I'm excited about that. But regardless, the wife and I continue to use it for its core functionality, and we love it. So, Chain, middle school teachers, those kids are disrespectful. So the fact that you're on your feet all day and working, man, that's hard.
A school full of people at the worst time of their life.
And they're going through it. Yeah, I mean they're not disrespectful because they're just jerks. They got their own stuff going on. But I hear you.
Bless you.
Yeah, and I was dealing with people that were happy to hear us talk about stuff, and I can only imagine.
They paid to be there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, all right. Ham Radio Crash Course Movie Club. We mentioned this on the podcast. This week's movie is The Birds. So you I don't know if you know this, but starting this year, we started a list of movies that are preparedness minded.
Okay.
And we're going through and watching them. And if it has like radio in it, then it's like,
very cool.
Extra points. We've done Leave the World Behind, which is kind of what kicked this whole thing off.
Okay.
Then we watched Day After Tomorrow.
Okay.
The Book of Eli.
Okay.
And then probably the highest ranking video we've reviewed so far, which I think is going to remain up there for a long time, 10 Cloverfield Lane. Have you seen that?
No.
You haven't seen 10 Cloverfield Lane?
Mm-mm.
You should go watch that. It's a proper prepper movie.
Okay.
It exists entirely in John Goodman's underground bunker. The movie's almost entirely in a bunker. Going through
10 Cloverfield Lane.
Yeah. Have you seen Cloverfield?
No.
Okay, then you are not going to be spoiled at all.
Okay.
You'll like it. It's going to be good. Well, assuming you like that kind of stuff.
And do you publish analysis on it, or?
Yeah, it's a part of the podcast.
Okay.
That I do with my wife.
Got it. Cool.
Because she's ham adjacent, mainly because she's married to me. But
ham adjacent.
Yeah, she's preparedness minded in the sense that we do a lot of prepping for foodstuffs and all that other fun stuff. And she does a segment in our podcast called the Preparedness Corner, where she talks about kind of being new to certain aspects of prepping or what she's good at and kind of bringing that to people. And she started this movie night thing. And so she's been going through and taking, crowdsourced movie recommendations.
Very
and
cool.
10 Cloverfield Lane is really good. So.
There's a Netflix series. It's not Netflix. End of the World and Traveling Shakespeare.
Oh.
But they have an IC 705 in there.
Oh, wait. What is it? Is that what it's called?
I can't remember the name. It's bizarre.
Okay.
But it's good prepper fiction.
Episode 2 of The Last of Us. There is an entire segment where the main character is going up this apartment complex, and he's walking to this apartment, and there's just a line of people out the door. They're all waiting to get into this apartment. And when he gets into the apartment, you realize the person that everybody's waiting to talk to is the ham radio operator. And he's got a ham shack set up, and he's the one that's communicating to the outside world. He's communicating to all the other the last bastions of humanity that haven't been taken over by this fungus. And they're using him to relay two-party communicate, to get messages out to the family that's been separated at these different bastions. Wow. And he's the most important guy. He's got all the news, all the gossip, and everything. Yeah, so if you haven't seen that, it's really good.
Okay.
But it's a proper
out your,
zombie type
week.
thing. Yeah, every week.
Wow.
Yeah, so far we've been doing it every week. Yeah. All right. Well, I think we're coming up to we're coming up to my end. You guys can all stay in the after chat and keep chatting, but I'm done. But yeah, Evan, how you feeling?
I'm good. This is my new life.
Yeah.
Talk every day, all day.
Yeah, but man, it's been good.
Yeah,
It's been
I
good
love
hanging
it.
out
Thank
with
you
you
so
and,
much.
and getting to do that
Yeah,
fun
and
stuff.
Thank you everybody for your support and questions. I threw you a discount code on my site.
Oh, cool. Did you drop it in the Discord? Or did you mean
No, I didn't. But HRCC for any training on my site, you guys, if you want to come do hands-on scenario-based training with radios, come take a class. I've got Charlotte, Tennessee, Pennsylvania.
And you do, it's in person, right? So
Yep.
you largely got to go that route. Yeah.
And if you want to host a class, reach out to me. I'd love to add you to my tour. And that's how I support my family. So come on out. And it's a great time. There's nothing like it.
Right on. All right, guys. On the Discord, thanks so much for watching. I'll be back. We'll figure out something next week again. That next week's all going to be activating ham radio and live. So regardless if we can't make the live work, we'll still be doing Winter Field Day and making contacts with you. So thanks on the Discord, okay? Take it easy, guys. Thanks for coming out.
See ya.
You guys hear us on the Discord or?
Yeah.
Okay. 7-3 on the Discord. Take it easy. All right, we've wrapped it up with them. Everybody on the YouTube side, thanks for hanging out. Sorry we were a little long. The time zone is a bit different here. So appreciate you all hanging out. But I'll be back next week and hopefully be dropping, let's see. Ham Nation was this week, so like 2 videos next week is my goal. At least getting that Boondock Echo out there and something else hopefully fun. So I will talk to you again real soon. 73. Enjoy the memes. EME gets the ladies. There you go. There it is. Oh, is that Dawn? Dawn's on now? Ooh, that's Dawn. N5 SKT. The guy talking.
Okay.
You just log out right now. Because it's still cool.
I didn't know who you were talking about. I don't know.
All right, everybody on YouTube. See